Hello, this is Tracy from Simply Into My Nails. Just coming to show you my current manicure and also show you how I'll be updating it with some stamping decals, which I'll be making and showing you how I will do that step by step. At the moment, I'm currently wearing OPI La Paz-Atively Hot, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous fuchsia shade with a sort of purple shimmer running through it. It's really pigmented, excellent coverage. This is 2 coats and it was so easy to apply. I absolutely love this colour. Anyway, as much as I love it, I always get a bit sort of antsy and need to do something to my nails, so I'm going to do the stamping decals method and show you how to do that. So the first thing that you'll need to do is decide on a stamping plate or stamping image that you want to apply to your nails. After going backwards and forwards on the design that I wanted to apply to my nails, I've finally decided on this one, which is the Pueen, I think that's how you pronounce it, Stamping Buffet plate, number 72. It's got these really nice flowers on, and both the reverse positive and negative versions of the flowers, which is really pretty. So I've decided to go for this image here at the top, which is the outline of the flower, which I'll be stamping in black, and then I'll be filling in the inner part of the flower. As I always do with stamping, I get myself a piece of kitchen paper, get my stamping plate, and my trusty black cream by Wet n Wild, my stamper, my Magno nail stamper, and a scraper. To start off, I'll grab one of these tabs, which you may have seen from my previous video of soaking off my gel manicure. These are the tabs that come off the CND Remover Wraps. So I use these because they have a shiny side to them as well as a matte side. I use the shiny side and top coat it. So I do this quite liberally. You don't want it too thick so that it never dries and it's too thick on your nails, but you also want it thick enough so that you can peel the decal off of the tab. So I just apply a nice even coating. I'm not sure if you can see how much I've put on there. So I set that aside for it to dry. When I use this top coat, it takes about 5 minutes to dry so that it's usable and stampable on. After 5 minutes, it will be completely dry. I'm not sure if you can see. Can you see where I have painted the top coat? It's in this area. The next step is to stamp the top coated area, which is the part that you want to apply to your nails. Select the area of the stamp that you want to pick up. So I'm going to be picking up this area. Get a nice coating of the black. And then scrape it. It's a bit cat-handed. So I've got rid of the excess. Pick up the image, which is transferred nicely, and then stamp it onto the decal. And that has stamped on perfectly. I usually leave these to dry for at least 5 minutes so that when I'm painting them and adding the other colours to it, it doesn't run into the paint colours and make a bit of a messy decal. So I'll pop that to one side. I've already made a few. For my little finger, I've used a different section of the plate which is this part here. I'll show you. Which is this part here, which has got a smaller flower on because obviously my little fingernail is not as big as this image here. So that's the smaller flower for the little finger. The next step is to colour in the decal. So to show you that, here's one I made earlier. And I'm going to colour that in. So whenever I'm colouring in anything with nail polish, I always get a tile to put the colours on. For this flower, I've decided to use Max Factor Orange. I think it's called Bright Orange, and it certainly is bright. It's a really great colour actually, it's easy to apply. I'm also going to use Morgan Taylor. And this one is called Ahead of the Game. It's a really pretty sort of pastel lemon yellow with a silver, subtle silver shimmer running through it. And because I don't actually own a bright white in OPI, I'm going to use this one, which is the ever popular My Boyfriend Scales Walls. So those are the three colours that I've decided to colour in the flowers with. The tool I'll be using to colour in the flower is my dotting tool. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll move that out of the way. With a larger sized dotting tool on one end and a thinner size at the other end. To start off with, I'll use the bright orange. I'll add a dot of that to the tile. You don't need much. And because they dry out quite quickly, I will start to colour in. So this orange colour is going to be concentrated around the very centre of the flower. I don't want there to be too much orange because I just want it to mix a bit with the yellow and make for a bit of extra dimension and interest at the middle of the flower so it doesn't look flat and boring. So I've just cleaned off the tip of my dotting tool before I move on to the yellow. So I'll put another dot of that on. Actually, I'll put a little bit more of that on because it's going to be covering a larger area. And then I switch to the larger side of the dotting tool, and then I just colour in around the orange, and then I'll cover some of the orange as well, just so that the two colours bleed into each other. Then move on to the white. And for the white, I will obviously fill in the rest of the petals. Use a very light touch because you don't want to smudge the black underneath, and you don't drag it, you just kind of dot it on and let it flood into the outline, and try to keep within the lines, but sometimes that's easier said than done. Obviously you'll get a better finished effect if you don't go over the lines, because the lines will act as your border on your nail, which won't allow the base colour, which in my case will be this pink that I'm wearing, to show through. So that's the finished flower, and then that will be left to dry for a couple of hours. You have to leave it until it's completely dry because it will stick to the backing if it's not dry, and then you won't be able to apply it to your nails because it will be a complete mess and it won't peel off properly. So these are the others that I've done earlier. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to apply all of those because it might be a bit much, I'm not sure, or if I'm just going to apply 2 or 3. But I've made 4 so far, and I'm going to fill this one in as well, which is the one that I just stamped. Now that it's dry, I'll be filling that one in as well off camera. And I'll come back and show you the final steps of how to apply them to your nails. I'm back again now to show you the final steps of applying the decals. They've been drying for a few hours now. I think it must be about 2 hours, and they should be completely dry by now, I should think. So the steps that I follow now will be to remove these decals from the tabs and then apply them onto my nails. To remove the decals, I use a combination of a orange wood stick. I use the flat end mainly, and some tweezers. Start by trying to first make a little lip around the decal by running the orange wood stick around the perimeter. And that usually takes it off quite easily. And then a combination of using either the tweezers or my fingers. Now, to be honest, I prefer using my fingers, but my nails have gone a bit long. I prefer to use my fingers because I can be more gentle with those. But as you can see, that's really easy to come off. And there's the back. Move that out of the way. And there's the front. Then that will be applied to my nail in some fashion. We'll see how that's going to go, because I still haven't quite decided whether I'm doing all the nails or not. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I usually go ahead and relieve all of the tabs of their decals all in one go, just so that I don't have to keep stopping during the process. So look, there's another one. This one's got a bit more orange in the middle. Oops. So I peel them off and then put them back on the same way, sort of face down. I'll fast forward through removing these ones for you. All of them have been removed now from their backings and then just put back on there to rest. So I'm going to select my first one, or possibly my only one, I'm not quite sure. And to do this, oops, instead of trying to rip through the decal, which would be annoying, I just turn them over just so I can see what images I'm working with. And to be honest, I prefer these two, which have got more of a pronounced orange centre. And this is the one for the little finger. So the chances are I'm going to maybe just use those 3, I'm not sure. To start off with, I'm going to apply this one to this finger. So I'm just going to line it up on my nail. I want the edge, okay, and then drop it promptly. So I'm just going to pop this onto my nail where I want it to show up in the finished design. and then I will use that as a guide for where to cut the decal. I'll take some of the excess off because this is just regular top coat. I don't really need that to be on the decal when I'm applying it to my nail. It's not an exact science. I'm not the neatest of people when it comes to doing nails. I get stuff everywhere and I make a complete mess. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of that. So now I'm going to peel that back off and apply some top coat to my nail. So I'm going to cover the whole nail with the same top coat that I used to create the decals. Just applying a really thin layer and capping the end, and then I'll pick up the decal. And now, because I've cut it, I've got a good idea of where it's going to be placed. So I've just popped it on, and now I'm just going to press down with my finger. Then getting an orange wood stick, I'll just pop it along the side walls, along the cuticle, and down the side walls on the other side. Now, I have to resist the urge to try and smooth it any more than that, because I've done that before and I ended up messing up the decal. So I will then grab my top coat again, and this time I'll apply a coat of top coat over the top of the decal, which then, because of the solvents in the polish, it causes the top coat that's already been put onto the tab to make, onto this tab to make the decal, it makes it melt onto the nail. So then I get my Boots conditioning nail polish remover to do the clean up around the edges. And there is that nail with the decal applied. I'm going to add another one. And then just take off the excess that's around the top. Oops. Okay, so that's not wanting to come off. So instead of trying to pull at it and rip it, what I do at this stage is I will apply the top coat. Which smooths it. And then I will just run my cuticle stick along the perimeter of the nail, and then that just takes off any bits on along the free edge. A bit along the cuticle, looks like it's about to come off as well, but I'm not too comfortable with that, so I'll grab my clean up brush again So there are the nails with the decals applied. I really like how this turned out, and they're really easy to do. They last for ages if you make them in advance, which is what I would recommend, so you don't have to wait in between the process of stamping the decals, because waiting for them to dry can be a bit of a drag, waiting for 2 hours. So the best thing to do is to plan ahead, do them the day beforehand, and then set about starting off your manicure so you can finish it all in the space of half an hour. So thank you for watching. Bye.